Hi, my name is Maceo Lewis, and welcome to ML Movie Reviews. Hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel, ML Movie Reviews. Today, I'm going to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. This is a spoiler discussion. You can see my either theater reaction from my initial quick under a minute thoughts about the movie that are non-spoiler. So you've been warned about the spoilers. Okay, I'll just start with some of the positives. As I mentioned, my either theater reaction. They played the Odyssey trailer right before the movie starts. So that was a positive about this movie. The dinosaur chase sequences, the humans being in pros, intense situations. They actually got me. So I thought the movie was mostly predictable who was gonna make it and who was gonna bite it, but they did get me with the douchey boyfriend guy, because when I first saw that character, if you want to call him that, I thought he was marked for death. I thought clearly he was going to be eaten by a dinosaur, but once he jumped into the water to save his girlfriend, I was like, okay, they're trying to do like a little redemption story or make him seem like, oh, he's a misunderstood type of guy. And so from that point, I was like, okay, yeah, they're not gonna kill him. So anyway, and that character, by the way, I didn't think his humor worked that much in this movie. I mean, he had some funny moments, like for instance, when he was like slicing through the jungle and he was like saying something to the effect of like "Let's go." Then you see and hear some rumble in the jungle, and then he turns another direction and says "Let's go this way." I thought that was funny. There might have been another funny thing, but I mean overall, now I'm going to be getting into the negatives now because there's a lot of negatives about this movie. Look, if you if you just want to see dinosaurs chasing people, eating a handful of people or whatever, then fine, go ahead and watch it. But this is not a good movie. The kill count isn't that high. I mean, first of all, they were trying to be like a horror movie, like with like monsters, the dinosaurs as monsters. They only had like half a dozen like on-screen kills. I mean, you had the guy at the beginning of the movie, the dumb guy with the Snickers bar. You had the guy with the gun, the guy who was on Game of Thrones. You had the female who was kind of like her, on the cruise ship. Then you had the French guy and the corporate guy. So that's five right there. And then the people in the helicopter. I couldn't tell how many people were in the helicopter, but I mean that's basically it. So yeah, let me get into the plot holes. I mean, look, there's so many of them. I might miss some, but let me just start. So they said that this mission was to extract blood from a large living dinosaur, right? They need the hemoglobin to do the study or whatever. Which, by the way, I don't know if that science is correct. They didn't quite explain why they needed dinosaurs from one from land, one from sea, one from air. That part wasn't fully explained. But I mean, they did have a huge dinosaur in New York at the beginning of the movie, the brontosaurus that was blocking the bridge or whatever. Both Scarlett Johansson and Rupert Friend were in there. They couldn't have extracted blood from that dinosaur. It was done, but it looked pretty alive to me. But again, it doesn't make sense. Like they were saying, oh, it has to be a living dinosaur, not dead or dying. I'm like, okay, well, that's a bunch of gobbledygook. It doesn't really make sense to me. Uh, and then they said they needed to extract blood, but the last sample they got it from an egg, which, to my understanding, doesn't have blood in it. And you saw the sample, it wasn't blood. It was like, I don't know, some white substance or what. I can't remember what it was. So they just contradicted themselves in the movie right there. They said in this world that the government banned travel to this area in the equator, so they're not supposed to be going there. And it was like, okay, I have a question. Why is this family out there in the middle of the ocean in this area that's banned by the government? Can someone explain that to me? Okay. Now, I understand people do break laws and stuff, but that point was never addressed at all in this movie. I mean, you had that scene where Mahershala Ali, after they get rescued, he's kind of looking at him like, "Why would you be out there?" But I mean, it wasn't really explained why this family, wasn't aware that there's, because he said that they travel there all the time, right? Or it's like a common thing for them to do. So that part didn't quite make sense to me. They had to keep a secret, right? Because obviously they don't want to get caught and face fines or go to jail, legal consequences, but also with the competition with other billionaire companies. So they wanted to keep this mission pretty much a secret. They had zero problem with breaking with that and rescuing this family which would put them in danger of being exposed, right? And then they had them on this boat, and then they're sitting there talking about what they're doing, the other plans, and the families are sitting there at the table and listening to all this stuff. And it's like, I thought you guys cared about, facing legal consequences or your competition getting a hold of this information and stuff. It just didn't seem to be a concern. Now, I mean, maybe what they're trying to go for was that the Rupert Friend character, that's why he didn't want to save the girl, because she was going to warn people to come and rescue them, and that's probably what they were going for, and that's the why he was willing to allow her to die, or or worse, kill her. But I mean, even with that, this still didn't quite make sense. They needed to work on that concept in the script. Let's see here. Scarlett Johansson's backup plan to get a helicopter to come in and fly in at a specific time. How come that could have been plan A of flying you there in a helicopter? That seemed to be a lot more safer than traveling by ocean over there. No billion-dollar corporation. Like they said, this took place within over 17 years. You had the opening scene, then 17 years passed. No corporation during that time when dinosaurs are all about thought of an idea. Maybe we want to take the blood from these dinosaurs and study them so we can do some research and cure cancer and all that stuff. No billion-dollar corporation ever thought of that. This just happens to be now when dinosaurs are rare and in the equator area. And they said that this island was inhabited by the mutant dinosaurs that they were experimenting on. That T-Rex that they encountered at the river didn't look like a mutant to me, unless it has like 3 nipples or something that we didn't see. Like, I don't know what kind of mutation that was. I mean, clearly to me that looked like a regular T-Rex. So how did that get there on this island? And the velociraptors that was about to attack the boyfriend before they got obviously killed by the mutated. I think those flying things were mutated velociraptors. That was my take. But they had regular velociraptors too. How did those get there? Look, I understand how flying dinosaurs can travel over thousands of miles to migrate in a habitat that's more suitable for their environment. Birds do that all the time. Same thing with dinosaurs that are sea-based, right? Because they can swim through the ocean. What about land-based dinosaurs? How are land-based dinosaurs migrating from one landmass across thousands of miles over deep blue sea to the equator area? I have no idea how that's happening. So that part doesn't make any sense. Now, look, Mahershala Ali's character at the end of the movie, he appears to sacrifice him. Obviously, he turns out to, survive the movie, but he appeared to sacrifice himself by using the light to distract that mutated T-Rex from the rest of the family. Well, first of all, it was they established that the T-Rex, or the mutated T-Rex, was distracted by the light, right? So I'm sitting there when he's like backing up and he's holding the light, and I see he's trying to get the distance between the family and the T-Rex dinosaur, but I'm sitting there like, okay, why not throw the light in the other direction so the T-Rex can follow the light so that you don't have to be eaten? And maybe that's what he did off screen. But my bigger problem with that is, so they think he's dead, and then the boat is escaping the T-Rex, and the mutated T-Rex stops and they're getting away. And then they see a flare right in front of them. And this, of course, Mahershala Ali's character. How did he get there? He was on the opposite side of the direction from where the boat was, and he either had to have swam, and I don't think he's a fast swimmer. I mean, he can't outswim a speeding boat, and he couldn't have ran through the jungle, because they established in the dialogue in the movie that how hard it is to travel through the jungle and to see through the jungle and everything. So how did he get there? I mean, that part didn't make any sense to me. Now, at the end of the movie, so they end up fleeing this island in this small motorboat, right? Did they not forget how this movie began when they were in bigger boats? That the family had a boat which was capsized by one of those sea dinosaurs, and then the mercenary boat was also pretty much capsized. We had to go into shallow waters because of those giant sea monsters that were attacking them. What is that little mini boat going to do to those giant sea monsters? uh, they what happened to him? Like they just like they just wrote him out of the script. That's what happened to him. So yeah, that part didn't quite make sense to me. There's a part in the movie, I can't remember if it was when the family boat capsized or when the mercenary boat capsized, but the dad clearly said that he hurt his leg. So he said, I hurt my leg, I can't move. I think it was the second capsizing. Then literally throughout the jungle in one part of the movie, I know at one point he got like a splint thing, but you can literally see him running. Clearly didn't look like he had any problem with his leg when he was running through the jungle later in the movie. So look, there's a whole bunch of logic problems with this movie. Um, Look, at the beginning of the movie, it seemed like they were, ripping off Final Destination with that Snickers wrapper thing. I mean, first of all, how dumb of a scientist do you have to be to, let a wrapper go like that and just eat a Snickers bar right before you're about to go and do some experiment? But secondly, how terrible is a security system like that? This is supposed to be some high tech area, and it literally shuts down because of one Snicker wrapper. That's just so dumb. That's just so ridiculous. And look, I'm not an advocate for kids being killed in movies or stuff, but come on, that T Rex should have eaten that girl. I mean, there's no way that T Rex wouldn't have eaten that girl in the water like that. And at a minimum, that T Rex would have destroyed that raft. I mean, literally, its jaws are 10 times more powerful than any animal that we've ever encountered on Earth, and its teeth is going through the lab and it doesn't rip it, doesn't destroy it. It's like, oh, it just pops up like nothing happened to it. Like that was really stupid. Look, this movie felt like it was two separate scripts combined into one. You have one script where the family, basically is going out to sea and, winds up lost on an island full of dinosaurs. And then you have another script where some mercenaries are hired to do a dangerous top secret mission to extract dinosaur blood. I mean, that's pretty much two scripts combined in one. The character stuff didn't work. When Scarlett Johansson was saying her lines about doing the job for 10 plus 6 zeros, I kind of thought she was talking to the audience like, yeah, I'm here for the money. I'm here for a paycheck. Come on, Marisha, you're here for the money too, right? Literally, there's a line where she says that in the movie. I felt she was just telling the audience that, this is all about the money. And good for her, good for them too. The rewatch factor is very low for this movie. I have no intention of seeing it again, not even for this review to have to watch this movie again. So I might have got some stuff, I might have missed some plot points, but you know what? I don't care because I don't really care too much about this movie. So anyway, as far as my list goes, I have the first Jurassic Park movie on the top of my list, the 1993 movie, obviously. Jurassic World Dominion's at the bottom. That's the one with the giant locust. That was so dumb. Why are you going to have a dinosaur movie revolve around locust? This one is definitely at the bottom, but I don't really care about ranking the rest of the movies. But it's Jurassic Park and everything else is below it. That's all I really care about. So anyway, that's my thoughts about Jurassic World Rebirth. What are your thoughts? Did you see the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were there plot holes that I didn't talk about that you pointed out? So anyway, hit the subscribe button, ML Movie Reviews, so you can see my more reviews on my YouTube channel, ML Movie Reviews. Again, my name is Maceo Lewis, and until next time.